In the late 1930s, Europe was entering a period of enormous economic and industrial transformation. Cities were expanding, trade networks were growing, and small businesses increasingly relied on motorized transport to move goods quickly through crowded streets and narrow urban districts. Large trucks already existed and played an important role in long-distance freight, but for many small businesses, they were simply too expensive, too large, and often unnecessary. Bakers, farmers, shopkeepers, and postal services needed something different. A vehicle that was compact, inexpensive, and efficient enough to handle everyday deliveries. Out of these practical needs emerged one of the most unusual light commercial vehicles of its time, the Goliath F400. The story of the Goliath F400 is closely tied to the industrial ambitions of German entrepreneur Karl Borgward. Borgward was a remarkably innovative manufacturer who believed that transportation should serve a wide range of economic needs. Instead of focusing only on conventional passenger cars, he built an entire group of companies designed to cover different segments of the market. One of these brands was Goliath, which specialized in small, lightweight utility vehicles that could be produced cheaply and sold to businesses that could not afford larger trucks. During the difficult economic climate of the 1930s, affordability was critical. Many small businesses were still recovering from the global economic crisis of the previous decade, and transportation costs could make the difference between survival and bankruptcy. Borgward recognized that a simple, compact commercial vehicle could fill an important gap in the market. The result was a series of three-wheeled utility vehicles, and among them, the Goliath F400 became one of the most practical and recognizable. One of the most distinctive aspects of the F400 was its unusual three-wheel configuration. Instead of the typical four-wheel layout used by most trucks, the vehicle used a single steering wheel at the front and two driven wheels at the rear. This layout may look unconventional, but it offered several practical advantages. By concentrating the load over the rear axle, where the two drive wheels were located, the vehicle maintained good traction and stability even when carrying cargo. At the same time, the single front wheel simplified the steering system and reduced the total number of mechanical components required for production. This configuration also had economic benefits. In many European countries at the time, three-wheeled vehicles were placed in a different taxation category than conventional trucks. That meant lower taxes and sometimes simpler licensing requirements, making them particularly attractive to small businesses and individual operators. As a result, vehicles like the Goliath F400 became a practical solution for companies that needed motorized transport but had limited budgets. Under the compact hood of the Goliath F400 was a small but efficient engine designed for reliability and low operating costs. The vehicle was powered by a two-cylinder, two-stroke engine with a displacement of approximately 395 cubic centimeters. Although modest in size, the engine produced around 12.5 horsepower, which was entirely sufficient for a lightweight commercial vehicle intended primarily for local deliveries. The engine transmitted power through a three-speed manual gearbox, driving the rear axle and both rear wheels.
Performance was modest but well-suited to the vehicle's purpose. The Goliath F400 could reach a top speed of approximately 31 miles per hour, which allowed it to travel comfortably through city streets and rural roads. While this speed might seem slow by modern standards, it was perfectly adequate in the late 1930s, when traffic was far less intense and delivery vehicles rarely needed to travel at high speeds. Despite its compact size and small engine, the F400 was capable of carrying a surprisingly practical load. The vehicle could transport up to about 1,100 pounds of cargo, making it extremely useful for small deliveries. Its relatively long wheelbase and rear-wheel load distribution helped maintain stability even when the cargo bed was fully loaded. For small businesses that needed to move goods around town, this capacity was more than sufficient. The body design of the Goliath F400 was straightforward and practical. Most versions featured a small enclosed cab that protected the driver from rain and wind, combined with a cargo platform behind the cab. The cab structure was typically built using a wooden frame covered with metal panels, a construction method that was widely used in commercial vehicles during that period. This approach allowed manufacturers to keep production costs low while still providing a durable structure. The cargo area could be configured in several ways depending on the needs of the customer. Some vehicles were equipped with simple flatbeds designed for transporting crates or tools. Others had higher wooden side panels that allowed them to carry loose goods such as agricultural products. In some cases, enclosed delivery bodies were installed to protect cargo from weather, turning the small truck into a miniature delivery van. One of the most recognizable users of the Goliath F400 was the German Postal Service. Postal vehicles painted in bright service colors became a familiar sight in many towns and cities. The compact size of the vehicle made it ideal for navigating narrow streets and densely built urban areas where larger trucks would have struggled. For postal workers delivering letters and packages, the F400 provided a reliable and economical solution. Beyond postal services, the vehicle was widely used by farmers, shopkeepers, and craftsmen. Farmers used it to transport produce, milk containers, and supplies between farms and markets. Shopkeepers relied on it to deliver goods to customers within their towns. Craftsmen and tradesmen used the vehicle to carry tools and building materials to job sites. The flexibility of the design meant that a single type of vehicle could serve many different roles. During its production life, the F400 underwent several minor updates. Early models displayed the traditional Goliath emblem on the front, while later versions increasingly carried Borgward branding as the company integrated its different automotive divisions. Some vehicles also received improvements in lighting and minor body refinements, reflecting the manufacturer's effort to keep the design competitive. However, the broader political situation in Europe was changing rapidly. By the late 1930s, tensions across the continent were escalating, and the outbreak of the Second World War was approaching. As Germany began preparing for large-scale military production, many automotive factories shifted their focus toward military vehicles and equipment. Borgward's industrial facilities eventually became involved in producing military transport and specialized wartime machinery. As a result, production of civilian vehicles like the Goliath F400 gradually declined. Although the design had proven successful as a light commercial vehicle, the changing priorities of wartime industry meant that small delivery trucks were no longer a priority. Like many commercial vehicles of its time, the F400 was built to work rather than to be preserved. Most examples were used intensively by businesses for many years, and when they eventually wore out, they were typically scrapped or dismantled for parts. Because of this, surviving examples of the Goliath F400 are extremely rare today. The few that remain offer a fascinating glimpse into the everyday transportation systems of pre-war Europe. Seen today, the Goliath F400 might appear small and unusual compared with modern delivery vehicles. Its narrow front wheel, compact cab, and simple cargo bed give it a distinctive appearance that stands apart from conventional trucks. Yet this unusual design was not simply a curiosity, it was a carefully engineered response to the economic and logistical needs of its time.
Vehicles like the Goliath F400 played an essential role in supporting small businesses and local commerce. They allowed goods to be transported quickly and efficiently within towns and rural areas, helping businesses expand their reach and operate more effectively. In many ways, these small three-wheeled trucks were the early ancestors of the compact delivery vans that are now common in cities around the world. Although it never achieved the fame of luxury automobiles or large commercial trucks, the Goliath F400 remains an important example of practical automotive engineering. It demonstrates how simple ideas, lightweight construction, efficient engines, and clever design can produce vehicles that meet real economic needs. Today, the surviving examples of the Goliath F400 remind us that automotive history is not only about speed, power, or luxury, it is also about the small, hard-working vehicles that quietly supported everyday life and helped keep economies moving. And if you enjoyed discovering rare and unusual vehicles like the Goliath F400, consider subscribing to the channel. There are many forgotten machines in automotive history, and some of them have stories that are even more fascinating than this remarkable three-wheeled truck.